and welcome to Time with Lydia, the Pharmacist. Today, I want us to answer two questions. Is bleeding after sex normal? Why am I bleeding after sex? About 9% of women would bleed after sex. Bleeding after sex is nothing to worry about, especially when it is a light bleeding that stops in no time. But when the bleeding is heavy and it lasts for a long time, as well as becomes frequent, then it is advisable that you seek medical help, because there could be an underlying medical condition that would have to be looked at. There are various reasons why a woman would bleed after sex, and I'm going to take you through a few of these reasons so we can all take the necessary measures to prevent this from occurring. So the first reason is when a woman develops cervicitis. Cervicitis is when the cervix becomes inflamed or when it becomes irritated. And there are various things that can cause this. The first thing that can cause cervicitis is when you contract a sexually transmitted infection. Example, gonorrhea, chlamydia, or herpes. These are infections that can cause an inflammation of the cervix, and this will then result in bleeding after sex. One other cause of cervicitis is the use of an irritant. For example, a spermicide, a douche, or latex that is used for condoms. Some of these substances can cause an irritation of the cervix and cause bleeding after sex. One other reason why an inflammation of the cervix would occur is when you develop a yeast infection or bacterial vaginosis. These are not sexually transmitted infections, but they can cause an inflammation of the cervix and hence can lead to bleeding after sex. Now, the second reason could be your menstruation or your period. For example, when you're due your period or your menstruation, or when you have just finished menstruating, this can lead to you bleeding after sex. So the advice is to use a period tracker so you know when your period is due, and also to give yourself a few days after your period before you have any sexual intercourse. Now, the third reason why a woman would bleed after sex is when the vagina is excessively dry. This could be as a result of not enough foreplay before the sexual contact. It could also be as a result of a lack of the hormone estrogen, and this is very common in women who are in their menopausal age. But in saying that, vaginal dryness can occur in women of all ages. And one of the things that you can do to reduce vaginal dryness is to use a lubricant. The best kind of lubricant to use would be a water-based lubricant. This can help lubricate the vagina and reduce friction, and this would in turn prevent bleeding from occurring after sex. Another reason why a woman would bleed after sex is when there is a damage, a trauma, or an injury after childbirth. One other reason is when an intrauterine device or a copper coil, which is a birth control device, is fitted in a wrong way. This can cause bleeding after sex. A uterine prolapse can also cause vaginal bleeding after sex. A uterine prolapse is when your uterus becomes weak and your uterus drops into your vagina. This can cause a lot of bleeding after sex and would have to be checked out with your doctor. One other important and crucial reason why a woman would bleed after sex is when there is precancerous or cancer cells of the cervix, the vagina, or the uterus. Finally, let's answer the question, is vaginal bleeding after sex normal? What you need to pay close attention to is the frequency of the bleeding and how heavy the bleeding is. But in saying that, it is advisable to report any kind of bleeding to your healthcare provider, especially when it has got nothing to do with your period. That is, you're not due your period soon, or you have not just finished your period and you're pregnant or in your menopause. I hope this short video is beneficial. Please don't go without giving it a thumbs up. Share with your family and friends. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please hit on that subscribe button and also on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our educative content. Leave your comments and your questions in the comment section. Thank you once again for your time today, and I hope to see you soon in the next one. Bye for now.